You know, I don't enjoy making negative videos about games and franchises that have given me a lot of joy in the past, but this video had to be made because a lot of people are about to drop $80 on the deluxe edition of Battlefield 5 to play it 5 days early, not to mention the millions that will spend $60 on it next week. Now, this video is strictly about the campaign because that's all I played, and that's the first thing I wanted to do when I got early access to Battlefield 5. So it's nothing to do with the multiplayer, strictly the campaign, and I was interested in seeing how DICE could up their efforts after the pretty damn good campaign in Battlefield 1. I was really interested in seeing what they were going to do here, considering Call of Duty Black Ops 4 didn't even bother to have a campaign. But unfortunately, as you guys can tell from the title, Battlefield 5's campaign is short, it's incomplete, and most importantly, it's awful. It's terrible. It's not very good, and it is entirely disappointing in every way imaginable. So let's get into it. What is going on, guys? Ryan Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. I know what you're probably thinking. Damn, Ryan, just how short is it? Why does it feel incomplete and awful? That's a pretty strong word to use. Well, the short one is pretty easy to get across, right? There are 3 campaigns, or war stories as they're called, and each one takes an hour to complete. So the game can be finished in 3 hours. Cue the Angry Joe gif of him going, 4 hours? Now, personally, I spent 3.5 hours in the game. I played it on hard, so actually one step up from normal. And I was so incredibly disappointed with everything this game had to offer, and with how short it is. It honestly feels like something went wrong in development and half of the game is missing. Like I said, there's 3 war stories to play through, and they tease a 4th coming soon. But even with that 4th one there, I'm not sure it would still feel incomplete. This feels like half of a game. But it's not all bad. In fact, I thought the game was going to be great, because the prologue that you kind of start up really gives you a taste of some great action, right? You start off in this night raid where you drop down parachuting and taking out some troops. Boom, you die, and then you're in a tank in Libya. And I'm like, oh man, this is really cool. Look at the graphics as I'm playing this on Xbox One X. I uploaded this video in 4K. It looks great, and it controls great, right? And then you die, and boom, you're a sniper overlooking enemy troop placements, and you're taking out enemies, and boom, you die, and now you're in a bomber over Germany, taking out planes. And then boom, you die, and now you're in this final defense, and all the while there's a fantastic voiceover by Mark Strong going on. And I thought, man, if this is just the prologue, I can't wait to see what else is going to happen in this game. But unfortunately, the 3 war stories never live up to the promise of the prologue. Mark Strong's voiceover is only in the prologue. He doesn't even appear during the rest of the game. And I was just so incredibly let down, I can't even possibly explain it to you, especially considering I really enjoyed Battlefield's 1 campaign. Something went wrong during development of the single player of this game. I am absolutely sure of it, because there are so many rinse and repeat, copy and paste things that they do, which I'm going to get into right now. Now, Battlefield 5 takes a weird turn, as the game is really stealth-oriented, but it doesn't really work very well. So the first war story, Under No Flag, you play as like a British operative just recruited out of prison. He's someone who's tried to rob a bank 3 different times. He's a trier, as they say, right? So you're paired up with this other British dude, and your job is to blow up some planes. And they drop you down on the battlefield, and you can kind of use your binoculars to tag enemies. And you notice different outposts, right? There'll be a couple enemies here, a couple enemies there. And you can kind of melee kill them stealthily if you choose to, which is normally the best circumstance, because once they find you, Well, everybody around them knows exactly where you're at, right? And playing on hard, you get shot a couple times, your health is in the red. I'm not really sure what it's like on normal. Presumably, it's a lot easier. But even on hard, it's not that difficult. Now, there's alarm stations posted without, and if you get seen, they will kind of, call for reinforcements. But the thing that I found incredibly weird was, during the first campaign, they open up the world, and they're presented you with, like, hey, go to these 3 places, right? And I'm like, all right, cool. The game looks phenomenal, the game controls well, and I was just getting into it, thinking like, all right, let me see what you have to offer, Battlefield, right? And each one of those places you go to, you have to destroy 2 things. It's like, okay. But then, in the second war story, they do the same exact thing. You're an overview of a big, large map. They want you to infiltrate 3 places, and at each one of those 3 places, they want you to blow up 2 different things. And then in the final war story, they do something incredibly similar. You come to a place, they want you to blow up 3 different things. They want you to capture a point on the map just like you would in Conquest. So they take the ideas and they just rinse and repeat them throughout. Now, the best thing this game's got going for it, honestly, is the graphics. Just look at this game. It is stunning what DICE has made, and yes, the guns control extremely well. Those are 2 things that I can absolutely say about it. But the storytelling is horrible, and what they have you doing throughout the campaign is just boring, right? And I expected more from DICE, and maybe that's my own fault. Maybe it's my own fault for looking forward to a campaign and expecting more from it. Now, it's hard to get attached to these characters like DICE wants you to, right? They present this incredible prologue talking about the heroics of war and all this stuff. And they want you so much to care for each one of these characters in these 3 war stories. However, it's hard to get attached for them when you barely know who they are, what they're doing, why they're doing it, and you're only with them for 45 minutes each. How am I supposed to grow attached to anybody? Why am I supposed to care about anything they're doing in that short amount of time? Maybe it was a mistake to play Battlefield 5 right after Red Dead Redemption 2, spending 70 hours with Arthur Morgan and Dutch van der Linde, experiencing one of the best narratives and stories told in a video game, and then playing this. Feels like child's play. This feels like coming from a master, right? A master's thesis, and now I am reading a paper from a 2nd grader. So I guess that's my fault. But honestly, there's not much good here at all. And if I were to rate the campaign on a scale, it's like 4 out of 10. It's a 5 out of 10. It is definitely mediocre, and I actually think it's worse than mediocre considering the pedigree of the studio behind it. Now, they do try to vary up each mission of the second war story, Nordalis, where you play as a woman resistance fighter. That is more stealth-focused than the other 2, and it's actually built around her abilities. She has throwing knives that she can take out enemies with. She's got skis, which are really cool because then you can, like, ski down the mountains, right? But they're not really used other than, like, hey, you need to get across this map, you can ski instead of drive, right? And how it looked and how it plays, that's it. And the third war story, other than it looking good, it's just rinse and repeat just like the other 2. And I sat there dumbfounded when I finished it after 3 hours, and I was like, my God, if I had actually paid $80, which I was going to get early access to this game, I would have been absolutely livid. Now, I know most people will play Battlefield 5 for the campaign, or for the multiplayer rather, but I'm one of those like rare souls who actually enjoys campaigns and shooters. I like to play campaigns in all my games. I was looking forward to playing this. But $80 for this? For this 3-hour experience that's disjointed and incomplete and feels like a more of a tutorial for multiplayer? DICE should be embarrassed with what they built here. They should be embarrassed that they kind of manipulated people's feelings in that prologue. And I hope, Mark Strong, you took them for a ride. Hope you got a big payday for your 3 paragraphs of voiceover recording in the beginning. Because it is just so bad, with no redeeming qualities other than how it looks and how it controls. So, if you're one of the few people out there looking forward to the campaign, set your expectations to the bottom floor, right? Play it sparingly. In fact, the only campaign worth playing through, in my opinion, is the second one. It's the best one. Don't even bother with the first, don't bother with the third. In fact, just play the prologue. It's the best part of the single player. And just kind of imagine that they didn't make one, that they just copied Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And you know what, maybe they made the right choice by not making a campaign, because no campaign in Battlefield 5 would be better than the one we got currently. Alright guys, that is my Battlefield 5 campaign review. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Are you interested in picking up and playing through the campaign in Battlefield 5? Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it out on Twitter with some friends and followers. I greatly appreciate that. If it was your first time here, hit that sub button. Hit that notification bell if you always want to be notified when I drop new content. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.